guys, I'm gonna try to make this one kind of short because I'm actually in the middle of writing right now and it's going kind of well, and it's like 10:30 at night, so I'm gonna have to get up in the morning and stuff and can't stay up late. I actually have kind of a lot of progress to update you on. So from the last point, I believe I made some progress for my NaNo novel because we met and we discussed the beginnings of our stories. There were a whole lot of beginners last week that we introduced to NaNo, and then this week we're helping newbies sort of get situated with their own stories. The newbie that I was with actually was going to rediscover an old novel and redo it, and she brought it with her, so she really just wanted to spend the time looking through it and reacquainting herself with her own story. So there wasn't really a whole lot for me to do, which meant that I spent the whole time like looking at my novel, which was cool. I spent some time fleshing out my main character. His name is Pat, and he's sort of like a loserific young adult who hasn't really found his life, but I figured out like the members of his family. He has a lot of very successful brothers and sisters, and his parents are very different but interesting, and so basically I just like figured out who Pat was, and his girlfriend, her name is going to be Jenna, and how their relationship dynamic kicks off the story. I actually sort of did what I did last year, which was to write a quick character sketch up of it. I wrote it by hand, so I have no idea how many words it actually is, but it was about 3.5 written pages. So that I did. That's my progress on that project. I obviously can't start writing it because NaNo hasn't begun, but I'm feeling pretty good about it, so that's good news. Currently, I'm writing it in present tense and first person, so these are both new things for me. I'm going to reread it later and see how I felt about it. Because I may choose to stick with it and I may not. I do think first person with this one is going to be the way to go. But present tense, I'm not 100% sure of. The advantage of writing in present tense is it's very in the moment, and I think that for the story that's going to be very appropriate. The disadvantage is I'm really not all that comfortable with present tense, and I don't always love it. So it's really going to be sort of a on my whims kind of thing, how I feel about it. So that's that one. The other thing is that the work in progress that I was working on before with the two girls and the creature now has a true name, and his name is Scarin. So now I can actually refer to him in these videos because I'm not embarrassed about how shitty his name is. So Scarin is the creature. The creature is called a Felwar, which is kind of like sort of like a small dragon that is actually more like it has fur. It has like a hide, not as many scales. It does have scales, but the scales are more for show than they are for protection, and big glowy wings. So it's not really a dragon, and actually he gets offended if you compare him to dragons, but so that's it. He's a Felwar, and his name is Scarin. So with that one, I realized I had sort of written myself into a corner, and I didn't like it. It's interesting because the point where I deviated and headed into the corner, I actually had a pretty strong idea that Scarin needed to go to dinner with this girl's family. Like, her mother was going to appear and drag him to dinner, and I didn't want to do that because my brain was fighting with where the story wanted to go. I had an idea of where the plot needed to go, and Scarin was being pulled towards dinner. So I went the way my brain told me to go and fucked it all up. See that? So I went back and I took all of that story and I just sort of moved it to the end, which is what I do when I'm ditching words, because then it still counts in my word count, but I can just trash it because it's all in one place. Or if I decide I want to reuse it, I can pull it back without it having been deleted. I'm like that. I don't like deleting words I've written unless I'm sure I don't need them. So they're there in case I need them. And then I went back to that point, and now he's been dragged to dinner, which was a fantastic idea because now he's met her grandmother, and she's scary. Also, he's met her mother, who is also scary, but in a different way. Like, Kurgni's mother is scary because she's a fierce mother. Like, don't you fuck with my daughter or I will shred you. That's her. Her mother, the grandmother is scarier yet, because she is the matriarch of the family, and she's very, like, you know, sweet on the surface, but if she has any indication you mean her family harm, she will end you, and you will be vanished. So, he is now meeting her family, and it's a very eye-opening experience. They're very down-to-earth, practical people, very simple people, but very tight-knit family people, which is not anything at all like the other girls' family, where they're basically just a den of vipers that all hate each other and are scheming against one another, and that poor girl is just caught up in this mess. So that's where I'm at with that one. Unraveling it was a good idea. Ditching my shitty plot was a good idea, and going back to where I had a feeling I needed to go do this thing, and I was right. So we're doing that. And then sort of randomly, I started writing a new romance. I've been sort of feeling this pull, like I needed to write some romance / perhaps some smut, but I didn't have an idea of what I wanted to write for it. I have a dog. Until last night. I was like, I need to write this. And it's basically like fan fiction of real life. I'm keeping the details sort of mum, because I'm not even sure if it's going to be a completed project, or if it's just me indulging myself for a moment. And stop it, Zappa. She hates it when I'm on the video. No. But that's about 1,400 words. And that's interesting so far. Right now it's been a grocery store. Like, and how hard it is to be an adult, and how broke people are. It's gonna be cool, I think. But I'm just sort of playing with it right now. And it was just this random idea that I had, and it was a great idea to start yet another story before NaNo, I'm sure. But I'm going to leave you with that right now, because this dog is being silly, and I'm going to upload this and get back to writing. So thank you for following. Sorry the video's late. I had a busy day again, but have a good night, guys. See ya.